Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and it's the first video of 2026. Happy New Year's to everybody, and what better way to start off a new year with some Hearthstone decks to climb that ladder on the new season in January, whether it's standard or wild. We have some newer decks, some mostly, older decks that are refined, but we got some pretty good recommendations here. So if you're looking to climb to silver, gold, platinum, diamond, or legend in standard or wild, these decks should do the trick. And as always, if you enjoy the content on the channel, feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit that sub button down below. Give the video a like as it helps the channel out a lot. So Hagatha Shaman, still really good. Don't know if it's the best deck in the meta, but at Diamond through Legend, always trending really well. No real new developments with it. Just play the good cards. You really want to curve out. Going first with this deck is amazing, and getting cards like Hagatha or Elise in your opener is great. Of course, you can play Flight of the Firehawk, get those buffed bumbling bellhops that double stack those buffs and can do some pretty good stuff in the early game. And then late game, you can like shutter block one of the slimes with like Wish Upon a Star, do some really good stuff. Really solid curve out deck, but definitely doesn't dominate like it was early on in this patch cycle, but still a very valid deck to climb with. The hottest deck out there, we've already made 2 videos on different variants. We have another one here, the whole like stuff rogue, where you play Elise, because Elise is just broken, as we all know, and you steal cards with like Deja Vu and Nightmare Fuel, and you got some tempo plays like Flashback with Foxy Fraud, and you have the late game of Ashemain and stealing a bunch of cards. Ziliax is in this version with the Haywire module and Perfect module for that 7 mana Elise hit, and we have the Scrap Booking Student, which copies a location from Elise, and more importantly is your 5 mana Elise activator. But yeah, you can get a bunch of locations. I had a game today where I'm facing Protoss Mage, and I just kept copying armor locations and out-armored the stupid Colossus. It was frustrating, but it felt good at the end. And yes, that was because of, Shadow Step and bouncing and whatever. I like the deck, it's fun. And it definitely, of course, plays Step and Prep and is trending really well. One of the best decks at Legend, top Legend. People have hit rank 1 with it. It is something a bit spicier to try out. As I call it, not controlled Death Knight, the mid-range Death Knight. There's a bunch of versions. This is what I've been playing on my climb on EU. Pretty, whatever, like 0 new cards. No Fyrakk version with Narrowlax. This is more just Marin. Marin's just a good card. Getting that wand, maybe the crown could do some stuff, but again, just play cards on curve. Play Elise. Elise is just absolutely insane. Copying up cards like Blob of Tar, or your life sucks and all of that. You get the Maladar scam with your giants. Maladar Ysera is usually the best thing you can do. Although Ziliax with the the usual twin module, perfect module can be really effective as well. So yeah, probably my second favorite deck of the meta outside of Rogue. But again, runs literally nothing new. You've seen it 1,000 times. It's just really good. And if you like Death Knight like me, you'll like it. If you don't like Death Knight like me, you will probably hate facing it. Discover Hunter, obviously still really good. More of a top Legend thing out there where you just really want to find Exarch Niall, draw those cards out of your deck. You can get, of course, the whole Sylvanas package going where you play the other sisters, Illyria and Verisa. Then, of course, you can just bounce Sylvanas with Brewmasters, or you can bounce your Grifta to find lethal damage with Neri. There's a lot of different lines of this deck, and even have Incendius in there that could give you a bunch of reach and double up on a ton of stuff with Rangari Scout. It's a classic Hunter deck of infinite card draw, generation, OTK ability, healing, board clears, and comeback mechanics. So wait, that's literally not what Hunter does, but a lot of this will be rotating. The whole Discover package is rotating soon. So again, a lot of this stuff you want to be wary of. Maybe you don't want to craft if it's not a lot of this stuff is rotating, but to be honest, almost everything that's impactful is rotating, as we have talked about in videos already. Cliff Dive Demon Hunter, another one of the top tier decks out there. This 7 mana spell can just win games on its own, where you play it and cheat out Illidari or Magtheridon, which will stick and get that constant effect. You have the mid-range package of Blob of Tar with my favorite Ravenous Fell Hunter, where once that's going, you return policy, you just get infinite blobs and slimes and all that. Your opponent can't get through, and then in the end game, you can like Cliff Row and get a bunch of Illidaris, a bunch of Briar Spawns and all of that. We're even running Elise in this deck because why not? But even though it could be pulled with Cliff Dive, it's worth it because Elise is absolutely broken, and BqfTBrXqBuHrBt goes into basically almost every Demon Hunter deck now. Really good Fabled cards. He's playing Wild too. One of the safer crafts of this expansion. There's not a ton of them, but BqfTBrXqBuHrBt and Sylvanas are definitely one of them. Dragon Warrior's still doing really well, sadly not really running the Fabled anymore. And again, it's just about Elise a lot of the time. It's not as impactful in this deck, but still quite good. And you know, you got Fire-Rack, which you can play. You got your Ziliax, Twin Module, perfect module, and you just want to play early game stuff, right? Gift Wrap Whelp early is great. Peddler can help snowball. You can go Sanguine Depths into your Stone Carver, which is a disgusting snowball technique, or just be really annoying with Whelp of the Infinite. That just clears up a lot of the early game has Dragon synergies. You got Epoch in here and Tormented Dreadwing, Narrowlax, mostly to activate your Elise, but they can still do good things. I've seen some pretty good Epochs out there where they just destroy your opponent's turn if they played a bunch of minions, right? So can be really good and definitely a very flavorful deck. One of the few new decks to come out of this expansion. Quest Warrior still doing really well. Another deck on my EU climb where I'm more like free to play, I guess. I haven't spent any money on that account. This is one of the other decks that played this DK and Rogue because I had dust left over from when I used to play, and this deck definitely not as strong in the meta as, you know, the decks before it, but it's pretty gross in the way it can stall with all the armor gain. Ancient of Yore is still pretty good. You got the Goggles, Shield Block, Unleash the Crocolus. You can stall with Bulwark of Azeroth, and you're just trying to complete that quest, try and get to that time warp to kill your opponent, or just outlast your opponent. A lot of times the quest isn't the biggest part of the deal, right? You're just trying to outlast. It's definitely more of a control deck. Of course, Twin Module, perfect module to your Ziliax, and a lot of stalling, a lot of armor gain, and then eventually outvalue your opponent with like Marin, quest rewards, all of that. It's just every game feels like a pretty big slog. It's a grind, that's for sure. So again, if you're really into that slower play style, you could go for that. Now after this, these are more of not necessarily top tier decks, but more just kind of flexible fringe options if you're looking for a bit more spice in your life. So Copy Druid is the Druid deck we're going to recommend, where you have the Lady Ajara, which you really want to double the stats. You want to destroy the spell one, the Well of Eternity, get Zinajari buffed, and then you can copy some pretty gross stuff, like even Iridar Brute, a giant taunt minion, and you could double the double, right? If you scrapbooking student and copy these locations, you can make it even bigger. You could get more Alonius for more damage. You could get gigantic Ziliaxes, or you could play Dread Deserter, or if you copy it, that version didn't start in your deck, so it's charged. So you could get a 12 charge, and then a 24 charge, or if you got another location, a 48, right? Like double. It's pretty darn good. The best early game in the world, definitely not a top tier deck. Some people brought it to Worlds and it didn't even do amazing there, but thought I'd give you guys an option for Druid as it has a positive win rate, at least at legend rank. Same for No Minion Demon Hunter, the recently buffed deck, where the Eternal Hold, absolutely crack card. This thing is nuts now that you get to discover that demon. Such a big difference, but plays more like an aggressive deck. Sigil of Cinders, Infestation, just a lot of early chip damage and all that. Emergency Meeting has made the cut because when you play with Solitude, you get to discount those minions even further. Maybe get a bunch of 4/4s, including with Headhunt, of course, and you have cards that can just go face, right? The Location in particular, or Hounds of Fury. So you got to play this more as an aggressive deck, but that late game Location can do some absolutely gross things, where I'm pretty sure the mulligan win rate on it is higher than any other card in the deck, and it's the most expensive card. So that should tell you how nutty it is. If you're looking for more budget-friendly options, Aggro Paladin still doing really well at Legend. It's definitely punishing decks that can't really deal with the early game. It's just a lot of 1-drops. It caps out at 4 mana, right? You're just vomiting the board and then buffing things with like Crusader Aura, Flash Sale, and that's really about it. And Busybot, right? Busybot hits the 1-attack minion. So super aggressive deck, super budget-friendly deck. I think it's like Flash Sale is the only expensive card in the deck at Epic. So I wouldn't craft it if you don't have it. It is rotating, but everything else is basically pretty budget friendly. Crusader Aura is in the core set. It's already free. So there's a budget Paladin option, and there's just not really great Paladin decks. Protoss Mage is way more popular than this deck, but Elemental Mage does better than Protoss Mage. And I don't want to recommend more people playing Protoss Mage because it's frustrating, as you all know. And yeah, Elemental Mage, super budget friendly as well. I don't think we have a single, is this an Epic? I don't know if this is an epic. Can I see? This is an epic. Conjured Bookkeeper is an epic. Everything else is like a rare and a common. And yeah, you're just playing early elementals, pushing damage, fireballing your opponent to death, solar flare, and you could draw a bunch of cards with like Living Flame, Blazing Accretion, and that's it. Again, super aggressive deck, super cheap deck, but if you're looking for a mage deck out there, it might work out for you. Egg Warlock is probably the best Warlock deck out there. No Reform is really working well. I did get destroyed by a Reform lock the other day, but I swear they played every Reform on curve. It was insane. So, and they had the signature, of course. They were wailing, but Egg Warlock, it was brought to Worlds. I mean, it's very one-dimensional. Draw the egg, destroy the egg, bring back the egg with Umbra, and hopefully overwhelm your opponent where they can't deal with it. And you can obviously ooze an egg and buff another minion for a bunch of damage. It's very, very linear, but not the easiest to play. Archdruid of Thorns can also get those death rattles as well in there, but definitely not highest on my recommendation list. But if you happen to have the cards, you want to give it a go. Plus, a lot of the stuff is good and wild, as we'll see. Maybe that's something you want to play. And then lastly, Priest, it's either Protoss Priest or Zarimi. There really isn't better options, and Protoss does seem to have the better numbers. I'm pretty bored of seeing it. This is an Intertwined Fate. They are going above and beyond with a little bit of different value, and the Gravity Lapse, I believe, is in there purely for Elise, but you can do probably some finicky little plays. You know the deal. Play Protoss cards, bring them back with Resuscitate, get cheap motherships, hopefully overwhelm your opponent with those, and maybe Umbra for some even more value out of that. But I'm sure a lot of you are just waiting for this stuff to rotate, to be honest. And with Wild, again, it is pretty rough in that format. Not enjoying it myself. I feel like I'm a broken record with that. It's really just two decks out there that are like super dominant. You have Egg Warlock, where you just get the egg, but in Wild, as long as you get Umbra, destroy the egg, you got a full board, and you got a 20/20 as early as like turns 4. You can even coin the egg on 3 and then play Sacrificial Summoner on it, and then play Ritual of Doom and get it out on turn 3. Like, that can be a reality, and like, how do you deal with that, right? And you can bring stuff back with like Habeas Corpus and Raise Dead, and it's just an insanely early scam deck that most things can't deal with. And I imagine if it continues to be a problem, Umbra might be the card that gets hit if that does come to that at some point. Nazmani Priest is the other really gross deck where you just want to play Nazmani. You can have it die, it doesn't matter, and then you animate dead and bring it back, and then you can play another one. You can copy it with Vivid Nightmare, and then all your cards just draw, go to 0 mana, you play Stone Tusk Boar, and then you just infinite light speed it, because this doesn't have Echo, at least yet. And this OTK could go off like turns 4, 5, 6 very consistently, and these two decks are basically dominating Wild at the moment. Pirate Demon Hunter is a way to go to try and get ahead of it, just try and kill them fast, and Mana Burn can prevent them from playing their cards, and you have like early, win conditions of just getting early Brigands out or Ship's Cannon, right? So we've known this deck forever, and you can even disrupt with Glide to throw some cards away, so it's the best aggro option out there. Or you can just try and scam with your other combos, like we got this Champions Druid that's trending well, at least at Top Legend, where you just ramp into Barnes, hit Ysel or Eonar, and just scam. Cheat a billion mana. You could OTK with champions where you get like Antonidas, something like that. Get infinite fireballs that cost 1 mana with Ysel. There's a lot of different lines with it, but it's purely about scamming, getting that Ysel out, copying stuff with Shadow Reflections, and yeah, it is definitely an option. It's kind of the deck I like to play these days in Wild, but it's also disgusting, degenerate, and I mean, it's the Wild format. And we'll also leave off with just Libram Paladin. It's good. It also cheats mana, can also disrupt with like Rebuke and Cold Feet, and you can buff up a charger with a bunch of buffs and kill your opponent, in particular with Sunsapper, Lanessa, cheat out Light Rays, Prismatic Beams, and all of that. And there you go. So yeah, those are the decks. Standard, Wild, obviously not a ton has changed. We're expecting, I would imagine, a mini set announcement next week is quite likely, as again, we're predicting the 13th that mini set will come out. Obviously, probably won't do another deck recommendation video until then, but we'll be talking Hearthstone until then, whatever news pops up, and if any new decks pop up, we'll try and highlight things on the channel as well. So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Good luck on your clients, Happy New Year, and stay salty, my friends.